Even tells you it's going to be a
The
preview.
British style. Yeah.
Pinky raised. It's not a true sip of pinky. It's not pinky.
Yeah. Well, you're trying to. It's like a normal thing. Man,
Well, normally, yes.
I'm all backwards in the camera.
You do the pinky, but you gotta over exaggerate the pinky. How many of you use the pinky?
Why?
Multiple people. Noah's on.
I'm
do you
sorry
say
if
your
I'm
name?
making you guys.
Adia, Lisa, Kamal, Kelly.
Oh my goodness, you guys are piling in here. We love you guys. Mwah, thank you.
This is like a reach. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people start talking about it.
Hi, Joyce.
Everybody's just like, this is the topic of discussion that needs to be
Yeah, well,
done.
it's the thing that all of us are going through the most right now, and it's not that we're all going through the most, it's that we're noticing it more. So we're just gonna talk about things that we're all noticing.
Demons, light, love, and boundaries.
Yeah.
Light and love.
No, we're gonna go into each topic, so this might be a little bit long today.
And if you guys have questions, put
them in there so we can keep it interactive and keep going. All right, so first topic of discussion: demons. This is something that we were talking about last time.
we talk about it every day.
Yeah, I talk about it every day. There's probably not a day you're going to be on my page where I'm not telling you something that a demon does and how it operates and the things that are going on. But let's talk about what they can do.
They can fuck you up. That's what they can do.
Well,
manipulate you, control you. They can ruin things for you. They can
make
everything
you think, in your life fall apart around you.
Well, essentially, a demon is just a parasite, and the goal of a parasite is to to feed it, to give it energy, and to
feed off of you, and for you to never know.
And for you to never know.
Which we've discussed that before.
And it hides in your ego.
Oh no. So here, let's go into this.
There's multiple things.
All right, so what can they do to you? They can inhabit your vessel. And what vessels can they inhabit? Living or dead vessels. Though we're all walking around with this thing that we call a body and we think that it is alive because we can walk, talk, speak, feel, use our minds, make decisions, things like that. We must be alive, right? No, a lot of us are walking around as dead beings with live bodies. This is our avatar. And so they can inhabit any vessel that is not aware of itself. That's the differentiation of being alive or dead, is self-awareness, your consciousness of yourself and what you're putting everywhere, the imprint that you leave everywhere. So they can imprint anywhere. Hold on. Stored in your brain, you have to suppress the past life. There is no outer deities. Oh, but there are.
There are. You just can't
it's
see
not
them,
outer,
them,
and I'm not saying that it's separate from us in no way. All of these things are all of us, our higher self and our lower self. And like you're saying, that higher or lower past life self, the higher self is the one that is your previous, past, future self that is helping you to align with the greatest good of everything that you could be or flourish to become. Your lower self is that demonic self that can inhibit you and keep you from doing things. But there are the ability for all of that demonic collected self to inhabit everything. So though it comes from within us, Joyce saying, yes, that is true. It can also, I can get a demon that came from within you. There is no rules to say that I can't have what you've created if I allow myself to. And the creations that we create within ourselves go without ourselves as well. They become conscious and start to do things to other people, whether through us or through touching us and them inhabiting someone else.
Or walking into their space.
So yes, all things are coming from us, but you got to be careful of the thing that you're creating. All right, so what can they do? They can destroy everything. They can hold you down from being able to see anything. Can you move that?
What?
This, so it's not distracting me?
I don't know how to move this part of it.
Okay, I don't know either. You
just
should be able to.
It's fine.
Hold on. Sorry about this, guys. I'm trying to keep going while seeing your comments and trying not to lose focus here.
It only comments when we're doing just talk.
All right, so they can make you feel less than, depressed, unworthy, undeserving. They can, your lower self can fuck up everything for you in every way. It can turn you against people that are truly trying to help you. It can make you see things that you don't really see. It can whisper into your ear things that are not true about you to get you to believe it. Your higher self is up there saying, no, that's not you. That's not who you are. You're not this lower being, and you don't have to have everything around you being torn apart. It's going to exhaust you to be your lower self.
Because the moment you are your lower self, you grant them access to your vessel.
Well, that's the thing. You grant, like Joyce was saying, you're granting yourself, your lower self, access into being the one that's at the forefront of your body, right? Whereas at your higher self, when you rise up into your higher self, that's the one that's taking control in the forefront of your body. Mm-hmm. So you're in a constant decision of what it is that you're choosing to be. But there is a spiritual warfare going on right now that has many players on the board. And right now you have to choose which side of that spiritual warfare you're on. You don't get to sit in the middle. That's one thing that I fell for, thinking that I could just be neutral to everything and just let everybody just be how they are and we'll all just figure it out. No. That's not the truth. The truth is you have to pick a side. You have to pick a team of which one you're playing for. Are you playing for the dark or the light? Because right now is a huge time of humanity for the light to be brought forth. And those that choose the darkness are going to suffer through that.
Be left behind.
So what can they do it to? Anything and everything around you.
Anything physical.
Anytime you see a being that is acting in their lower vibe self, you know that it is automatically the demonic self that is taken over. And it's like the trauma body that I'm always talking about. The trauma body that I express it like the Venom suit. It's a pain body. And it has the data of everything that you've ever experienced painful. Now, while it's the whole time that it has all this data, you're going through the motions of your everyday life. And through those motions that you're doing, you're experiencing things. And it's recalling that past life data, and it could trigger you into the trauma that you once felt. Now, when you're in that trigger, in that trauma, it automatically sends off its guard, and it's protecting you. And there ain't shit outside of you that's going to get through to you for you to hear anything of some common sense, because it's so traumatized and it doesn't want to hear anything else other than the trauma. The trauma body doesn't want you to let go of it. It wants you to continue to be in trauma because you're feeding it to stay. The trauma body wants to whisper into your ear just like venom. And the only way for you to release that trauma body is for you to rise up your vibration into your higher self. And how do you rise up your vibration into your higher self? You must act in accordance with the most high vibration, the most high ways of being. You can't act as a low self and emit a high self vibration. And you can't act as a low self and expect to get rid of your trauma body, because every time you turn around, you're just adding to it. You're just adding more to it, feeling more and feeling bad. And then it's talking you into feeling even worse, and you're believing it. And it's talking you into feeling stupid shit about yourself and other people. You're believing it. You're adding to the trauma, building to the guard that it has around you. It's got a hold on you, and it ain't going to let go.
Mm-hmm. Only you can decide that. Two things can't exist in the same spot, right? So if you have a demon and it's trying to keep you in the trauma body, you can't say, I'm conscious, I'm aware of myself, and then still have these things telling you that you can't listen to anybody else. Like, you have to be able to witness as soon as you go into a trigger, right? Being triggered is a demon. Anytime you get triggered, you are admitting that demon is showing. So once you see it, once you feel it, you have to acknowledge it and then let it pass through. That being you, the conscious self, your higher self, is how you take back control, by letting it go. Let go. Don't let it sit. Don't let it get it what it wants, because it's going to make you think.
Don't let it feel.
You're going to think it's yourself thinking it. It's not you, because your natural state wants you in a happy, positive place. Like, it wants you to be your higher self. It wants you to raise your vibration. That's the whole goal of what we are as humans. but it's going to keep you down. It's going to try to keep you like, that person's evil, that person's wrong. Oh, they're just trying to come after me. Like fear. Fear is it's hunger.
It's food.
It's how
that's why I said don't give it
any,
feelings.
Anytime you worry, doubt, scare, stress, that's all negative emotion. That's all demons. That's how they feed off you, and they create it. They play these things in your head. In the past, in the future, they give you these false realities that aren't happening in this present moment, and they try to fucking take you away from the very now. Because the moment you're in the now, you're technically in enlightenment. You're enlightened, right?
Yeah.
You go, well, what is meditation? How do you reach enlightenment? You focus on the now. Don't think of the future. Don't think of the past. You just take control of what's going on right now. If there's drama all around you, guess what? If it's not near you, if it's not in your vision, if it's not in your literal existence, it's not there. It literally doesn't physically matter.
To give you like a physical, like a visual that you can look at, imagine this top part right here is the ceiling of heaven, and this is the floor of hell, and this is the space in between that we all exist. And every moment we are choosing whether we're up here or whether we're down here. And if we're in the middle, like Joyce, I saw what you said, you'll get trampled by both fucking sides. You'll be torn to shreds.
Bipolar, fucking go nuts. Like, you don't know what to think. You're just like, oh, fuck the world.
Yeah, it's like when you reach into your higher self, everything is provided for you along the path because you are trusting. And when you're trusting, everything is given to you with little effort, no effort whatsoever.
You have to try.
But the moment that you are acting in your lower self and you're acting from disbelief and doubt and all of these other things that are not meant for you, you might as well tie a noose around your fucking neck and tie it to the back of a car and tell somebody to go 100 miles an hour and never stop, because that's what's going to happen to you. You're not going to get to have that peace that you want. Everybody is wanting, I wish my life was peaceful. I wish this and that. Well, you got to look inside yourself and realize that you have all these traumas that you have to deal with. You have to get over these traumas. You have to face these traumas. You can't just let them harbor inside of you. They create disease, guys. You think that your disease comes from other places. Your disease comes from your own self, from your own mind. And then the system putting all of its pollutants on top of it just assists your weakness of mind to create disease. You got anything else to say about that part?
I mean, not really.
Okay.
I haven't felt called to say anything.
All right.
If you guys notice, if I just sit back listening, I let her talk, and then I only talk when I feel called to. And then when I talk, it just channels through me. So it's like, I mean, you all get that. It's normal shit.
Yeah. And yeah, staying in the now is the place that you can find peace.
That's all you need to. Guys, go look up.
The future and the past are both illusions. They're both your imagination.
But they both happen at this very moment.
Yes, and at the same time, the negative outcome and the positive outcome are both your imagination. They don't exist. But which one are you going to feed? Which one are you going to fuel? Which one are you going to manifest? Right? Everything is just an imagination, is just an illusion until we start to believe it and bring it into reality. So a lot of times we're sitting here bitching, and you got to realize that the words coming out of your mouth are creating things. A lot of you do know that. The ones that have never seen this before, they're literal spells. You are spelling every day.
They put it right in front of your face.
Put it right there.
You must spell out your name, and don't think that, oh, it means anything different. No.
You're spelling.
It means that's what it means. If you're casting a spell every time you talk, your voice, your words, it's all frequency. So by talking, you are emitting a frequency that has a specific vibration to it that then emits that frequency to the universe, then what comes back to you. So by declaring things that you could be sarcastic, oh man, I hate my life. Yeah, that you may be joking, but by you admitting those words, it's going to give you more reasons to joke about why you hate your life.
It just serves a purpose.
You don't even fucking know you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're just talking like, oh, it's sarcasm. They put this in there to make it seem normal to you guys. They needed you to normalize this type of language because by you not understanding how it really works, you just feed into the reality that we all call us, right? They say hell and heaven are right here. You depict whether or not we're in hell and heaven. We were just talking about this.
We were talking about how people are literally living in hell right now, and then the rest of us that understand that what's going on, we've created our own heaven within the hell that we're all in.
The reason why we say we're in hell is because if you look at the world
as a whole, the collective whole,
there are more people who are unconscious and unaware of themselves than there are people that are conscious and unaware.
We were talking about this earlier when we were talking about the progressive countries that we used to. I used to look at all these countries outside of the States and be like, man, these people are so awake. Why can't our country get there? And then after going so far above my own perception over and over again, I found this new depth that shows me what is demonic and what is not. And it shows me that progressiveness that I was looking at, that I thought was the way and the light, was actually the darkness and the demonic. And so all of these progressive countries out there are lost in the demonic way and don't even know it. And they think it's fucking light. That's the saddest part of all. And I fell for it too.
That's the thing that's always weirded me out. You know what I mean? Like, I get you want to be light and love, and that's all you have to do, but you don't have to literally be that every single day where you just take it, right? The thing that all light and love people that are all light and love, like that's all they are all passive, like passive aggressive, or no, pacifist. Passive. I couldn't say the word pacifist. So essentially, they don't like drama. They don't like confrontation. They don't like to claim and deal with shit when it needs to be dealt with.
Well, here's the thing is that, okay, the normal human nature doesn't have to do that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There is no need for standing up for myself.
Yes.
If things were the way they were supposed to be, if we were already back to our nature, we wouldn't have to stand up for ourselves and what we believe in. But because we do, and then we have this nature of acceptance, and we have this nature of love, and we have this nature of compassion, and all of these things. And they use that against us, as I've said in the last video that we did. They used those specific traits against us, and it made it really hard for someone that really isn't seeing through everything to be able to decipher what's coming at them every day. What is of light? What is of real light and love? And then what is the fake love? And that's what the next subject was light. So real love versus fake love. You know, you have real love, which is unconditional. And yes, we've talked about that, but we're going to add light, love, and boundaries onto the same topic right now. Okay?
Too.
Oh, we're getting into all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So real light versus fake light. Real light isn't going to run away from anything. Real light is going to be unconditional, but real light is also going to set boundaries around itself. Real light, real love is going to set those boundaries, because
standards.
Yes, when I said the most high vibration operating from that point, when you operate from that point, though you have unconditional love, as I said, you have those boundaries around you, because you know that you should not be acting at a low vibrational state. And then when you get to that point of high vibration, you can tell the difference between the frequencies that you are emitting at all times. We have to get past this point of it's all just happening to us and we're all just empaths and we're all just receiving. No, motherfuckers, we're sending out too. And we got to be very, very conscious of what we're sending out, because it affects everything. Though nothing exists, and though it affects nothing, it does. It's a deep rabbit hole. Anyways. Yeah. Now, let's see, conditional and unconditional. If you have people in your life that say they love you, yet they have stipulations for you for that love, it's not unconditional love, but then you have to also put into the factor of what are your actions? What are your habits? What is causing them to want to put stipulation on you? If they have already been up here, they've already seen things, experienced things, and they're like, nah, I'm just not fucking with that anymore. I've been where you are. I'm not dealing with that. So there's a lot more to this than just saying unconditional love for everyone. Everyone can just do whatever they want. Doesn't matter what happens to me or anyone else in the process. You guys just do what you want.
It can go both ways too, because like you might be doing something that the other person might not like, and then they might be viewing something in a way that they're not technically supposed to view it. So both people in the situation can be wrong, but you have to come to an understanding that like what she was saying, like be aware of everything that you consciously put out, like or everything that you put out. Understand what you say and how it affects people all around you. If it doesn't help or amplify anybody, then don't say it. If it doesn't serve and build your standards and show people how you need to be treated and how everyone should be treated, not just you, don't say it. Don't do it. Like, be the example.
Of
Be
what you
literally
see.
be the king. Be the king or queen in the situation. If you
Yeah,
were
quit
in
waiting
a
on
room,
somebody else to give you your crown back.
like start handling yourself as king and queen. I mean, don't be like a douchebag about it. Like, don't fucking touch me. I'm the king. But like, but just be like, no, you have a bubble. You have standards. You have, a specific energy about you that you're only gonna fuck with a certain amount of people. You're gonna discern through who you should talk to, who you should shake hands with, who you should even give your time to, right?
As much as you said, like shake hands, like that's a big thing. This right
Like
here,
a simple shake of a hand is like that's an energy exchange. So
that
what you got to think about is
that's an imprint
is
as
the person
well.
you're shaking hands with, is their energy clean? Because the moment
Yeah.
you touch them, boom, now you
Yeah.
got a part of them in you.
Yeah, and now you're connected to their grid.
And it's
so
something,
now
it's funny.
coming to
People,
you.
they've made it so common that we need to touch each other to show sense of like empathy
Yeah.
or sympathy. That if you don't do it, they're like,
What's wrong with you?
you didn't shake my hand. They try to normalize
I'm gonna
it.
go ahead and tell you
business-
right now.
Go ahead, try to do business right now. And you probably won't get a business done if you don't shake someone's hand. That's how fucked up the world is right now. You don't need to shake somebody's hand. They should just be able to read you from right across the street.
Yes,
wherever
it
you are.
doesn't. We don't have to touch each other. Touching each other comes in amplifying times, not in just, hey, how are you? How's it going? I've never met you before, but I'm gonna put all my shit on you and touch you. No. And then
You need to respect
go
each other's
back,
space.
another thing, to go back to the sun got dark in here quick. Another thing to go back to what I was saying, the heaven and the hell, and then you're in the center. Well, there's a warfare going on right now between both of those places, and you're caught in the middle of it. And that's what I was saying. You have to make that choice on how you're going to operate, what things that you have to let go of, everything that is not serving you. If you are experiencing a lot of chaos around you, it's your reality telling you that you need to make shifts within yourself.
It only chaos, anything that you take personally, is a sign that you need to either get rid of it or accept it. Like, I don't want to be like beating a dead horse here because we say it's the same shit every time. But if something is meant to be in your life, it will stay. Like they tell you all the time, if you love something, let it go. If it's meant to be with you, it'll come back to you. That you just got to take that same trust and apply it to everything in your life. If something is going on in your life that's chaotic, that isn't fitting, it's just not working out, you feel uneasy about it, you stress about it, that's the fucking universe telling you that you need to stop doing what you're doing. If you literally, for example, hate your job and it's lowering your vibration and you're always having a problem getting to work on time and you somehow, like, your boss is always yelling at you, that's literally like the universe telling you, get out of your job. If you can't get along with your spouse and you guys always get into arguments, you guys don't respect each other's space, you talk about bills, you're not supposed to be with that person. Either you have to have a serious talk right now because you need to get your energy in check, or you need to get the fuck out of that relationship. Your car breaks down. There's always issues with the engine. You can never just have a smooth ride. Maybe you're not supposed to have that car. Maybe you're not supposed to be driving in the areas that you are. Like, question
Maybe you
everything.
have shit that doesn't belong to you because you didn't follow the natural order of things to get it. And Small Kelly says, you will know them by their works. That is so true.
Their actions speak louder than words.
That
literally.
is so true. I don't listen to words anymore. You can talk in my ear all day long. I really don't give a fuck what you have to say. I want to see what you're doing. That's going to tell me everything. And if you really want to know the truth, when anyone comes to have a conversation with me, I'm not listening for what you're saying. I'll go ahead and give you my nuggets. I'm listening for what you don't say, because that shit you're trying to hide is what I hear. I don't hear words. You can ask him. I hear tones, frequencies. And if the tone is off, I'm on it. Immediately. And if you have, I can see in your eyes that he's doing it all the time. Look at this person. What do you think? What do you think of this person? Tell me what you see.
So you can see right through people.
Sometimes I don't like to meet people, especially when they look up to me, because I can look them in the eyes and see the fucked up shit that they've done. And then I have to look at you and see what you've done. And then if you want to face it, that's cool. Like, I'm more power. Like, I encourage you to face it, because then you can let go of it. And then when I look at you again, I don't see it anymore because you've let go of it. You've released it. But until then, like, it's really weird for me to have conversations with most people because they're sitting there hiding shit they don't want to say. And I don't have to. And normally don't. I usually call it out. But every once in a while, if I don't feel like dealing with it at the moment, I will let that demon pass. But when you mess with the keyboard, it interrupts your friend talking with a weird noise.
Because the keyboard's loud. It probably is.
Okay, my bad. I didn't see that. Let's see. There was a comment right here about relationship. Hold on. Coming into contact with a narcissist makes you see the demonic kind. You know what's funny about that comment? I've gotten called a narcissist so many times that I can't count.
Yeah, people will look at you, and you get to a state of under full awareness, full consciousness, and you can see right through people, you can feel it, all that. People start looking at you as some asshole, narcissist, dictator, slave master. Like, they look at you like just some person. Stay away from me, stay away. And it's funny because if you look at all movies, every basis of a movie tries to get you back to the point of, we are human. Come back to being a human. And how do they tell you being a human?
Come back to all the things that we control you with.
Come back to feeling all of this. So you stay with me so we can go through all this chaotic bullshit
together.
Even though everything is telling us we're not supposed to be there, let's fight it anyway. Let's just, come on, we can love each other. Fuck whatever the universe is saying. We're gonna stay with each other.
we're gonna stay in this co-created bullshit together.
Yeah, it's all they try to do.
Yeah, they will. Stupid. They depict the good as bad, the bad is good. They sway your feelings and emotions. They've got you by the balls. Your ethereal balls.
Literal balls or ethereal balls.
Yeah. All right. Manawa said it was false love in the darkness. I'm guessing that you were talking about when we were talking about the relationship. Yeah. But yes, there's a lot of false love out there. You know, I experienced a lot of people that would look me in the face and say, I love you, sister. We're going to be sisters.
Shut up. No, you don't. You're lying. You sense it. If somebody talks like this, I love you. They talk so much shit behind your back. It's crazy.
No, it wasn't even that.
Or should I say talk negative? They have negative thoughts on it too.
Like,
they talk. I'm just saying. That's what I see. You can sense the sarcasm in their fucking voice. It's the same thing. I can feel it.
Okay, I shouldn't have been sarcastic with that.
Well, I'm pretty sure you have people can relate to that. You have that person.
No, but they have those people.
Like,
yes, those people that will tell you to your face, yes, I love you, and all this stuff. Like, and we get caught up as humans because they've trained us to feel real well. We get caught up in, oh my God, you care about me. You want to spend time with me. We should be friends.
We should just hang out all the time.
And a lot of people are in this reality and they're attracted to each other. You know what's funny?
Life.
We have that center point of attraction, right? So you'll notice it if you're sitting in misery all the time and that's your center point, you are going to bring forth miserable people.
You bring in what you are.
And if you're constantly thinking about how you want to heal people, I had to fight with my own self about this shit. You're fucking people up in the process. Sorry. You're literally telling the universe, hey, I want to heal people. So I need you to go fuck shit up for a lot of people, and that way they can find me and I can heal them. Because I need to validate myself so that I can heal people.
That's like the pharmaceutical
That's
companies.
literally what's happening.
They cause diseases and then they sell you the cure.
Yeah.
Like
so you're being the pharmacy.
You're being an fucking tool.
Yeah, you're being the pharmacy at that point.
You're controlling things. Hey, let's start the war and then we'll end it here. Then we'll fund both sides.
Yes. Yes, you can see their fakeness in their voice. Yeah. You can see it, you can feel it. If you know yourself at all, then you can see and feel any of it. Period. But there's going to be people, and I noticed that it's happening a lot lately. There's a lot of people that are coming into our lives, and with that post I made the other day where I was like, zip it and trust no one, that was for a reason. Because Most High has identified to us who our family is at this point. All of us. I can go ahead and guarantee you that you have witnessed people be completely torn out of your life. And it may not have made sense to you. Others, it made perfect sense to you. But they were all being removed. Because you have to let go of everything for where we're about to go collectively. And nothing can hold us down.
It could be your relatives too.
Yeah, it could be your flesh and blood.
But flesh and blood isn't.
That's just another.
That's a physical thing. It's not the spiritual aspect of it.
Yeah.
That's what they tell us. Gives us
your avatar.
Connection and attachment. Oh, but they're my family. I'm attached. I can't let them go. There's a weakness right there. If you can't let go of your own family, you got problems. I'm not saying you're a bad person if you do, but you got to understand the reality, the bigger picture, that you cannot have attachments to anything.
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 You're a liability to the entire universe if you are emotionally attached to one fucking thing in this whole thing we call an experience or life.
It literally is a weight on your shoulders.
It's a weight on all of our
shoulders. How are you supposed to ascend if you're carrying on this weight?
You
can't fly with fucking
transcendence only happens to the weightless, and we have so much weight holding us down by the way that we think, the way that we feel, the way that we operate, the behaviors that we have, the actions that we take, the things that we fill our mind with, the things we fill our body with. All of these things are weight. Every bit of it.
Emotion. Like, imagine I got this from, like, hypothetically, let's say I was in a family and my family, my immediate family all died. This was like the last thing they ever gave me. And it meant everything to me because it imprinted all of their lasting emotions, the memories, blah, 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 blah. Well, if I was told that, hey, Ryan, you're able to get into heaven, bro. You're going to get there. You're already cleared. You got all the right intentions, but you got to drop that bottle, man.
That bottle can't go with you.
But it's like, but it means so much to me. My family was the last thing they gave me before they passed, and it's like, I can't let go of this, man. I can't do it. You're holding on to a 3-dimensional fucking object.
It doesn't mean shit.
It doesn't mean shit. You give it a meaning, right? You give it this meaning. You can
your
remember
family, right.
everything. Why are you letting a physical fucking thing hold you from getting into heaven?
And that family member is a piece of you. There's no separation. They didn't leave. Their avatar left. That's it.
Yeah, their avatar. People realize, when they're dead, they died. They're never coming back. Or that's it. They're gone forever. No, there's more after this. This is one part of reality. Do you realize the dimensions that are out there? Do you realize that technically the third dimension is nothing? It's just a playing field for demons. Do you realize that? It's just that you put emotion on the intangible things and you let these things weigh you down. I can't move over there because if I move there, I won't be able to see my family. Well, maybe you had to go over there for a reason. This is a sign that you need to drop, to leave your family for a second and figure out what the fuck your mission is.
So sometimes we must leave our family and be the example that shines the light for the rest of our family to follow.
Hello, I did this 2 years ago. I've been away. I haven't lived with my family since 2017. I've been living on my own, doing my thing, getting by for 2 years now. People have done it for even longer. She's been doing it longer than me. you got to take these jumps. Like, I have no attachments. I love my family to death, but if they're not conscious, I can't wait for them. I love them all, but they're stuck in certain parts. They mourn,
We all
they
have
regret, they stress, and I've tried to do the things I
It's
can,
like-
but you can't force
It's like
people
that
to be.
story,
to
you
be
know, you're
conscious.
talking about, these other beings, how they sense energy. Well, we're the same thing, and we sense the energy. And the more conscious that you are, the more your senses just explode with feeling, true feeling, real feeling. And when that happens, and something walks into your vicinity, into your bubble, you immediately feel it. It changes you instantly. And then you have to decipher. You have to know yourself by yourself long enough to know what it feels like when you're alone and what it feels like when someone else is in your space. Because when you know what it feels like when you're alone and you make yourself really, really happy, then the moment that someone comes into your space and they are not vibrating that same happiness and that same vibe that you have, you immediately can identify it and cut it off and let it go.
But
You know that it's not supposed to be there. Yeah, some people know this and still don't do it.
You realize if you're in a relationship right now and everything in your life is great, you're happy, the people that you're with, you found your family, you found your tribe, and the only person holding you back is your significant other. Hello. Some people and this is the hardest part because you think there's always an exception.
You
think that,
that's the human part.
They're coming along. And the person watching this, we love you.
Yeah, we love you.
We love you, bro.
Thank you.
We love you. But this is just an understanding. But you may have this person in your life or thing, and you're like, they're waking up. They got good conversations. They're starting to think. But the reason that they're even doing it, right, is because you're setting example. Well, you're doing things intentionally to you not force them to ask questions, but by you doing certain things, you're trying to get them to ask questions. And by doing that, you're exhausting your energy. You shouldn't have to try to wake anybody up.
No.
You shouldn't have to try to put hints out for anybody. They should come to you and start asking you questions. Right?
That's another way to protect yourself and know who is your tribe and who is not. Because if you have to go to them and wake them up and nudge them and force them to get to these places, they're not part of your tribe. They just align with you because a little tiny smidge of them was the same as you. Little tiny smidge of that vibration they're emitting was the same as yours, and it allowed you guys to attract to each other. And that's another reason why you have to use discernment and set your boundaries and know what is actually entering.
The reason why she was saying that we have to stop doing certain things, like to shut the fuck up, is because you had since 2011 essentially to wake people up. The 7 years of trial and tribulation. You had 7 years
to wake yourself
up and people with you. Now we have gotten past that point where you cannot no longer take your time to focus on waking other people up.
And none of us can take our time to wake you up any longer.
You have to focus on your inner self. Like, you now have to take what you are and now amplify that shit to the max. Because things are going to be happening to the whole world soon that it's going to shock everybody. Reality check, fucking how big we actually are. Like,
if they weren't ready to be broken and come down to that state of being able to be rebuilt, because you're not, I'm sorry, but your egos already have the data that you're believing. And that ego is not going to allow you to just switch like that. Okay?
It is not an easy transition.
Because the ego, just like everything else in the universe, is built to serve you, but it's also collecting data all the time. And the more data that it collects, the easier it can serve you faster. It can make you happy faster. It can answer things faster, right? It can make you comfortable.
Facts, Jared.
Okay? The moment that someone brings in information you've never heard and takes
blasphemy.
Your ego is like, whoa, this is new data. I've never computed this before. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know. And then it comes out of you as this anger. like, and the ego
You
gets
get
named the bad guy.
you get
It was never
offended.
the ego. This is where you get cognitive dissonance. It's because your data shifted, and now it had to settle and find its space, so then you could be served again. That's all that is. It's not demonic. It's not this bad thing. The ego's not a bad guy. There's nothing really that's a bad guy. If we really look at it, it's all serving us, even if the bad shit is serving us in a different way.
You've just been giving your ego the wrong Kool-Aid. Most of us. Like, you've been drinking the wrong Kool-Aid. You've been drinking the Kool-Aid of the elites. What the reality, the matrix, what they've been throwing in your face. You've been taking it in, thinking this is really reality. This is how it's supposed to be. This is the system in place. That's the Kool-Aid I'm talking about. You built this construct around you that in order to get a job, you got to go to school, get a grades. In order to start a business, you got to get an LLC, get approved, and you got to take all these. You got to understand the laws. You got to understand how to do your taxes. Like, you think that's how it's supposed to be, but in reality, none of that matters because it was all made up. If you break it down to the core essence,
like
it's all made up.
All bullshit that was made to oppress us.
Literally, it's like,
and
hey,
enslave us.
it's like, this is how it
So
started.
let's have a debate over the bullshit lies
it's like
and
this.
get somewhere.
It's like, hey, no, you have money, I have money. There's land over there. Hey, there's some people on it, but we have all the money. We can either try to buy them out, or we could, buy them out, or we can just kill them all. What do you want to do? They're not listening. They don't want to do it. All right, let's kill them all, and let's set our own rules there, and then we'll create this thing called a government. We'll do that. We'll call it a government.
Yeah.
And we'll then, to make sure that everybody follows us and does what we say, we'll create these things called laws. Let's create laws. And then we'll hire somebody to enforce these laws. How do we do that? Police officers. Let's go get people, pay them, tell them that they're important to enforce laws that were made up by people
that they don't even
money.
know, that they haven't even studied.
And then we'll tell people in their history books that this is how it always was. And we'll teach people, and we'll tell the people as
that way
professors,
they never find out where they came from.
We'll
so
tell
they can't figure out where they're going.
We'll tell the professors in all the schools to say this is how it's supposed to be, so that when the young kids grow up, that this is their normal.
And they go to start out, they're already starting out at failure because they learned nothing. They paid to learn bullshit.
Do you guys see that? Like, that's literally how a government started. How this whole thing started.
Yeah, we just started the fucking government.
You got money, boom. You want power, boom. You just buy things out. You hire people that go do things. Like, if you guys are running an event, you're gonna go hire security to make sure your event stays cool. Like, it's the same thing. They just did it on a massive scale, and it's so big that any of us to denounce what they've done and say that it's actually fake, we can't even say, because the bigger the lie, the more believable. The bigger the lie, the harder it is to even say it's a lie. Like, you can go into topics right now in history of past events, and it will trigger people because people will get offended by things that you said. Like,
well, it's been engraved in them since they were a child.
How could you say 9/11 was really, my friend was in that building? How could you do that? Like, they get offended because they're
only looking at what's right in front of them and not the bigger picture. That's why
I've had people come to me and actually deny the things that I've said, because they're like, bro, do you realize in order for any of this to be true, do you know how many people would have to be in on this? Yeah, I do. And they're all in on it. Like, hundreds of millions of people.
Here's the thing, is that a real brilliant mind doesn't need many people. Yeah, you saw that, didn't you? A real brilliant mind doesn't need many people. Let that sink in. Doesn't need many people to control everyone. Okay? All they have to do is have a small group of people, and then that small group of people they have given their agenda to, and that small group of people gives an agenda, in the compartmentalization, meaning you only know what you're supposed to know in that compartment. And then you are carrying out the agenda as a lot of times there's a lot of good beings that are trying to do these bullshit jobs that they have created, right? I know people that are in DSS, CPS, the government, the law, all these different places that they are trying to do good things and having to work within this bullshit and unjust system.
It didn't always start out. Here's the thing. All these systems that are in place that are now fucked didn't start out fucked. They got ran by people that came in that had the wrong mindset, that had wrong intentions, came into these good systems, gained superiority, and became like a veteran. They just went up the ranks and they took power and they set the new parameters. And if you look at everything that is right now, everything that is in our reality, it technically was run by demons and peasants. And now think about that, right? Because if we all used to be in heaven and everything used to be all glamour before all this bullshit was there, that means that there was somebody somewhere sometime that got scared that they would never be able to become anything. And then one day, somehow, they got the power, they had the opportunity, and they took that fear in their mind that they would become nothing. And they try to overrule, lie, take control, and then work their way into that system. And then when they got the power, they're like, we got here wrong. We got to make sure we can't get hurt. Let's go and do all of these things and put these places and companies in favor so that we can remain in power so that nobody can ever get us.
Yeah, and
Demons
it was just a whisper
have done
thought.
this.
Okay, so talk about one of the dreams when I get taken from either side. So even though we are all one, there is still a little tiny, like, fine line of separation. A little fine line. So when they took me into this office one time. And this office, a very dark office, and it had this screen. And on the screen was anybody that they called upon at any time. When they called upon it and it came onto the screen, anybody that those people were dealing with and talking to and having feelings for or emotions towards also popped up on the screen. And with one little tiny thing, they send whispers out into all those people. They can create mass chaos at any time. Okay? So you're dealing with all these different things. We're not alone. We're not alone here in this realm. Joy saying the things you and I talk about, sis, are like beyond the fucking cosmos, okay? So where we're coming from is beyond even Earth, beyond all these things that I'm talking about right now. So I get where you're coming from. I'm talking about what's happening just in the Earth realm. So, yeah. So, another thing, well, we've already been talking about it, but let's get back to boundaries, because earlier today we were talking about that. I was talking about unconditional love. I had this stance. I was an advocate for peace and love and, acceptance. Just live and let live. I was such an advocate for that. But then I almost gave my children up into the hands of demons under the name of acceptance and peace. I just want peace. Just want them to know their father. I wasn't thinking clearly. I didn't see things for what they were. I didn't see that the demon had a hold and that there was nothing, no amount of peace that I gave was going to fix that situation, right? So we have to know how to set our boundaries, especially as light and love beings, because we want to just love on everybody. And you guys saw me years ago. I was all over the place, all over Cali and everywhere. I love you. Like, come here. Let me hug you. I was doing all of that.
Right.
Now you won't find me doing any of that. Not yet. That's coming again. But right now is not the time, because in this spiritual warfare, there are things that are trying to attack us. The final purge is here, and they're infiltrating anybody that they can. Okay? So
I've seen all this bullshit going on in the world right now.
So you can't just accept everybody in and trust everybody right now. You have to have those boundaries of your kingdom. And what is your kingdom? Your environment. The environment that you're creating, right? Your mind is your crown. The kingdom, your environment, what was I going to say else? Your throne, your vessel. That's your throne.
Crown, throne.
Right? So you, being a royal being, oppressed by peasants, let's make that fucking clear, because peasants are what created this system. Because they knew that they were not royals and could never be the true royals of this world, this earth. So they had to oppress us into believing that we were nothing and that they were everything. But they're not.
They're the gods.
Okay?
They don't want you to know that you are the god.
They want you to let off your boundaries. Don't have boundaries. Let us do whatever we want. You can't allow that. I know that's how we've operated for so long, because it's nature to us. We're love, so of course we want to love. But we have to use our discernment in knowing what is approaching us at any moment. Like I was posting the other day, technology is everything. Your trees, your bugs, your animals, your waters, your vessel, your earth, your sky, your dome,
Everything is
your God.
Everything.
It's all technology. And it can all be tapped into at any time.
People don't think that this can be a technology because, again, it's so over their head. It's
because
so
we've been
big,
taught
you
that
can't
we are
think of it
just
like
this
that.
flesh being.
They're
Nobody
like,
taught us about our hard drive or our processor or our projector or any of these things. They didn't teach us about our operating system or any operating system for that fact. Okay? So the boundaries are what keep at bay all those things that are coming to cause strife, chaos, confusion, all these different things in our life. You have to keep them out instead of letting them in just because you're accepting and loving. That's what it's like the
is this
snake.
kind of what Trump is doing?
It's he told a story kind of like this. It's kind of like the snake story where, you know, the woman rescued the snake and nursed it back to health, and then it bit her, and she's like, "Why did you bite me?" Well,
No, that was
you
a
knew
toad.
that. I know, but this is a different one. It's like you knew that I was a snake. What did you expect?
In my head, it's
That's
my instincts.
discernment. That's where discernment comes in. Being able to decipher between the two and knowing that when you look at that thing that is coming up upon you, that it's going to cause you pain, and you say, absolutely not. You have no authority here. You have no entrance into my kingdom for any reason. And you can't give a fuck how they think about it. That's where you fuck yourself.
Having emotion.
Yes, you have emotion. I don't want to hurt anybody.
That's where
I don't want them to feel bad.
Emotion is the enemy.
Motherfucker, I don't care how you feel if you're coming up to me with demons. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say what I feel because I'm protecting my kingdom from something that, though you may not know that it is there, that's not my business right then. My business is protect my kingdom first, and then if you're seeking, help you get rid of whatever you got. But I'm not going to try and just come take it out of you. So it's important that we set those boundaries. Let me see what we got here. And that doesn't mean that you don't love people. Just get that through your head, because a lot of you think that, you know, you might feel bad for turning someone away or something like that, but you got to get over that. That's where they have got us all. They have us all so easily by our emotions.
You shouldn't have to feel for anybody because everybody should be conscious around you to understand their own thoughts. Every time you get a low vibrational thought, feeling, emotion, whatever, you can have them because you know right now it's fine, but you have to know that it's in you.
It's not that it's fine, it's just a part of our reality right now.
It won't be here forever. Mind you, this is just temporary.
Yeah.
But when you feel these things, you have to then understand in the middle, you may not even like it because, again, you're going against yourself. You're fighting your own self here. So it's like the moment you catch yourself being triggered by something, you have to, within that moment of being upset, pissed, stressed, sad, whatever, understand, like, this isn't me. Like, what the fuck? And get it out. Like, if you're sad, you're crying, you don't even know why you're crying, that's a sad thing. Understand in the middle of you crying that, oh my God, I'm crying right now. Gone. Let it pass right through, done. Go do something to change your fucking state, right? You can have a habit.
That's
you can have a ritual.
We win. That's how we win, by shifting it. Right? They want to put a false narrative in our head. That's the demonic way, is to put a false narrative, and we have to shift it into our narrative that we chose from our consciousness.
So I know that not everybody's going to be able to switch it like that because it's really hard to do. But the one thing you guys can do as an exercise to kind of get used to it is the moment you have a certain feeling, have something that you have on deck ready to go, so that as soon as you notice this feeling, in order for it to recognize it and get rid of it, do this one thing. Like if I all of a sudden get pissed off, and this isn't what I do, it's just a hypothetical. But let's just say I get really pissed off and I recognize, man, what the fuck, I'm pissed off. Like, if my go-to thing to change my state is to go do 100 push-ups, I'll go do 100 push-ups because I know that if I go do 100 push-ups, it's going to take me out of that state and I'm going to be in a completely different mindset. Or if I breathe in really fast, maybe take a new oxygen and figure it out. Or maybe I just go in and just scream, and then I feel good. Like, find your own personal escape real quick, but not an escape to hide from truth, but to take that, understand that trigger, get it out of your system, and then once you're good, evaluate it. Why did you get triggered? What happened? What was the purpose? What?
See the comment?
The enemy has most people behaving
like
believing
they are
atheists.
atheists, therefore nullifying evil spirit exists.
Yeah, people
clever, but not clever enough for God. See, yes, absolutely. That's why I was like, yes.
I feel like atheists would actually understand this more because they're trying to look for a valid reason to believe in something that's not tangibly there. Like me, for example, I never really cared for religion. You know, I grew up Catholic. I didn't go to do all the praising. I had communion. I did what was it called? Confirmation. I got all that stuff. But like when I was younger, I never felt called to go to church. I never felt called to do anything like that. Like I just never felt that. And the moment I realized that all religion is based off of the same principle of going within, you realize that
you find the same God no matter what.
All these gods,
go within.
every single God that every book talks about is this talking
and
about
it's
the same
not even
thing.
And that's the thing, is it's not even the God that they're talking about.
No, it's themselves.
It's
everything they're trying to get you to be godlike, to be like that, and they realize, oh, that's me. Holy shit! But nobody wants to admit that they're that God because then they feel like they're self-centered, arrogant, or overpowering, egotistical fucking assholes.
Samuel, I know you see it, and it is anyone that is in this spiritual warfare that has already gotten out of the abyss of things, the rabbit hole of things, and seen everything for what it is. You know that there are evil spirits at work, and you know that there are light spirits at work. But like you said, it's clever, but it's not clever enough. So
No.
Let's see, is there any, I think that's it.
For the question, yeah.
Yeah. That was basically all we wanted to cover. Just going over that for a little bit. We'll save some for another live. All right.
It was necessary.
Yeah, it was. Because a lot of things are going on right now behind the scenes, behind the veil. Exactly, Samuel. Exactly.
There's no religion.
There isn't.
Exactly.
There is no separation. It's all the same. But yeah, right now the spiritual warfare is going on, and you have a choice to make. You are being identified right now. Every single one of you. I look at your news feed. I can tell what side you're playing for immediately. All I got to do is just listen to one sentence that you say or one thing that you support. It's clear.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's read that comment out loud because
that's true.
Says, I'm a Jehovah's Witness and I agree with what you're saying, but let me say that in the congregation and I'll be kicked out quicker than Lucifer was kicked out of heaven. It's very true.
We actually did this. Remember last year when we went to Jersey, we went to that whole Jehovah's Witness Center?
Could you guys believe that I went to an entire fucking convention for Jehovah's Witnesses last year? Wow. Me and Ryan both sat in a fucking stadium full of them.
Like, I think what we did is we went there we were
just to see. Yeah, we were exhausted, but I wanted to see how off it was.
We went there and it was a big ass stadium, like the hockey stadium shit. We had people up in the bleachers, and then we walked out. We didn't leave yet, but we were sitting out of like the circle where everybody goes in, and like they have like all their people that are greeting everybody walking in. And I don't remember what we said.
I walked up and I said,
what did you say?
I don't even remember what I said, but whatever I said affected the demon in this guy, and he would not even communicate with me any longer.
No, we literally said something about like it was about a God that like going with him.
It was
he was so indoctrinated.
It went with the message that they were talking about. It was like right along with what they were saying, and they're like, nope, I'm not listening to anything. Nope. Like literally, I'm not listening to anything.
No, literally, yeah. He was like, Jehovah is the only person I know I'm going here at this time. And
they were sitting there.
Want an open conversation. He just
one day we will tell the whole story of what they were all sitting there asking for and what was sitting right there in their presence, and none of them could see it. All right. So anyway.
Hopefully you guys understand that.
Yeah. But that happens, Terry, is you can't.
The cult mindset. It's all cult.
When we really, okay,
It's all
this
cult.
is going to really offend some people
Football is
because
a
you
cult.
have been in the church for so long. And yes, I've been in churches where I've cried my eyes out and I felt the presence of Most High. You can go in any church and do that. But the church itself, the ringleaders of the church that created the church, they weren't playing for God. No, they were playing for the wrong team.
They created the church to take you away from yourself. There's multiple reasons why it was created.
Yeah.
Literally. They can harness your energy. Think about that. Why do you think every church has a pin top? Why do you think there's massive amounts of it? Why do you think they sing and release all this energy and do all these rituals instead of it's energy pointing up, like they're sucking up your shit. And on top of that, they needed to blind you from being able to look within yourself. They needed to have you focus on something outside of yourself, because if you gave that something else energy, where are you going to put yours? Like, they don't want you to look inside, because the moment you look inside, you realize that you don't need anything outside of yourself. And then hence you take away their power.
Absolutely, Terry. It's very one-sided. I noticed that when I was there. They are not allowed to look at anything outside of what is presented to them. And how is that any kind of consciousness whatsoever?
Doesn't sound like a good religion at all.
No.
It's like God. It's like God in or the Bible, for example. I'm not saying I read it or anything or I'm huge into it, but God said that you can't eat from the tree of knowledge. Don't eat the fruit. And the snake came over and pretty much was like, hey, you should probably eat it. Blah, 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 blah. They were trying to awaken people.
Well,
he was literally trying to awaken them.
This is what, no. Hold on. Because that's where you get fault. That's where I fell into the lie, right there.
I was just an example. I wasn't saying that's what
had we not known, okay, the moment that we were given the awareness, right, then all of a sudden we're aware, and then we can't create the way that we could before. Now everything becomes really tiresome and exhausting, and we have to try to do things. And then we have to get back to consciousness to get out of the spell that we were put under. Because before that, if we weren't aware of anything, we were just creating. We didn't have to ask for it to be created. We were in the womb at that point. And everything was provided for us without any effort. And then all of a sudden, oh, let me tell you how this works. Let me do this and make it harder for you. Where we thought that it was enlightening, it actually was harder. It actually was harder. And now it is creating us to have to go to full consciousness to get back to that state of, oh, everything was always taken out from me. I mean, not taken out, but working out for me. Oh, yeah. How about that? Yeah.
Uncertainty.
Yeah, and you can easily, like Samuel's saying, you can easily fall into the lie, into the illusion. I, for one, did. And I had a lot of people going with me, and I realized that I was falling for the wrong side. I really believe they have the only perfect religion, as if such a thing existed. Straight from the Samuel, it's not just them. There's so many different groups and things that think that there's the only way and all this. The only way is right here, inside yourself. That's the only way. You're not going to go to a church house and find the way. You're not going to go to a school and find the way. You're not going to go to the government and find the way. You're not going to go to a fucking YouTube video and find the way. You're not going to go to a guru to find the way. You're not going to go to a book to find the way. You're not going to find the fucking way any way outside of yourself. The only way is here. It was hidden here for a reason, because they knew that you would do all this shit. The only way to get back is right here. This is the narrow path. Go inside yourself. Ask yourself the things you want to ask humanity. Research the things you want to research outside of yourself. Ask yourself to show you the things that you're trying to look up or have truth about. It's all there. And the only way you're going to get any of it is right in here. All right. So, I think we're done now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. We're out. All right, guys. Stay strong. Keep up the good fight. And no matter what demons are trying to come around and tear you down, call them out. Don't let them have authority there. No more passive bullshit. Okay?
To be called out.
Stand up for your right to have your peace and your sanity and your happiness and your health. If nothing else, at least stand up for that because you deserve it.
All right.
Yes.
Peace out, peeps.
Goodbye, guys.